Greetings of the day. I am Ishrat Fayaz and today I will be presenting a paper titled COVID-19 and Indian MSME Sector Challenges, Relief Measures and How Innovation Can Lead the Way. The paper has been prepared by Dr. Farzana Kulzar, who is an assistant professor in the Department of Management Studies at University of Kashmir, along with Ishrat Fayaz and Ikra Shafi, both of whom are research scholars at the Department of Management Studies in University of Kashmir. The latest world calamity that affected almost all aspects of human life was the outbreak and spread of COVID 19 disease. The tremendous loss of human life is startling and distressing. Not only has the health crisis generated the necessity to develop new vaccines, equally, the spread control practices introduced by many governments globally have caused an economic crisis. Along with the major economies of the world, the impact of COVID 19 on Indian economy has been largely disruptive. Almost all the sectors have been negatively affected because of the sharp and sudden declines in domestic demand and exports. The Indian MSME sector, which contributes around 30% to the GDP of India and employs around 114 million people, has been drastically affected because of COVID-19 prevention measures. To pacify the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on MSMEs, Government of India announced a special economic package on 12th May 2020 for the MSMEs. However, due to certain limitations, this package had an inadequate effect on the performance of MSMEs. Now, given the importance of the Indian MSME sector, it is essential to ensure that the MSME sector remains competitive both at the national level as well as globally. One of the major determinants of the competitiveness of MSMEs or any business in general is innovation. Now, in this paper, we explore the impact of COVID-19 impact on MSMEs and all the innovative management practices that can be used by the MSMEs to alleviate the negative effects of the pandemic. The objectives of the paper are to determine impact of lockdown on the Indian MSME sector, to identify the various relief measures provided by the government to MSMEs during COVID-19, to suggest favorable innovative methods for the progress of the Indian MSME sector. The methodology used is the study is based on secondary data wherein the literature has been collected from different sources including research articles from various journals, newspaper articles and reports of various organizations including Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Department of Economic Affairs for statistical data, books, and other online resources. Oreo of MSMEs of India before COVID 19. India recorded 633.88 lakh unincorporated MSMEs in the country engaged in different economic activities as per the National Sample Survey 73rd round conducted by the National Sample Survey Office, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation during the period 2015 and 16. The estimated number of MSMEs has been displayed in the table. Challenges faced by MSMEs during COVID 19. Collapsing demand and supply. On the economic side, the first impacts of the lockdown measures due to COVID 19 were the abrupt drops in both aggregate demand and supply. The decrease in consumption and investment resulted in demand decline, while as pervasive shutdowns of businesses caused the aggregate supply to plummet. The second challenge was distortions in the supply chain. When the supply and demand sides both weakened, supply chains became stagnant. The third challenge was managing the work environment. COVID 19 has pushed many managers into remote management, which necessitates a different expertise and skill set than in person management. This has led to various struggles on part of managers as well as workers. Based on the vast literature available, some of the factors have been identified which cause challenges in the functioning of MSMEs during COVID 19. These are shortage of supplies, unavailability of manpower, freeze in external funding, massive cash crunch, inefficient processes leading to low productivity, inability to catch up with the digital and online race, customers changing demand patterns, escalating operating costs, fear of shutting down, fall in creditworthiness and ratings. COVID relief measures announced by the government for MSMEs. On 12th May 2020, the Prime Minister of India announced a special economic package for MSMEs to help them overcome the impact of COVID 19 on the economic horizon of India. The package of 20 lakh crores, which is equivalent to 10% of India's GDP, was announced. Some of the basic features of these relief measures were revised definition of MSMEs. The revised definition of MSMEs has been displayed in the table. The second relief measure was rupees 3 lakh crore guarantee scheme. To overcome the COVID-19 crisis, government announced rupees 3 lakh crore loans to MSMEs. And the main features of this scheme were that the scheme provides additional working capital finance of 20% of the outstanding credit as on 29th February 2020 to MSMEs with an outstanding credit up to rupees 25 crore and turnover of up to rupees 100 crores in the form of term loans. The next relief measure was credit guarantee scheme for subordinate debt. The main purpose of this scheme is to provide guarantee coverage for guarantee scheme for subordinate debt to provide sub-debt support for restructuring of MSMEs. The next relief measure was disallowing global tenders. Many MSMEs faced competition from foreign companies that led to disadvantage for the local businesses. To control this, on 15th May 2020, the government amended Rule 161 of the General Financial Rules relating to global tenders for government procurement. Next relief measure is rupees 50,000 crore equity infusion of MSMEs through fund of funds. The main objective of this scheme is to encourage MSMEs to get listed on the stock exchanges. Other measures for MSMEs include that as a replacement for trade fairs and exhibitions, e-market linkages will be promoted, and also government would release MSMEs receivables within 45 days. Limitations of the relief measures issued by government. First, supply side solutions rather than focusing on demand side fix. The government has covered over 4.5 million MSMEs under its loan schemes, but there are a total of 66 million MSMEs in India. However, they are not covered by these loans. Also, only those firms have been made eligible for collateral-free loans at concessional rates who already have outstanding loans, which means only 7% of the total number of estimated MSMEs. Also, changing the definition of MSMEs has led to the further marginalization of the micro sector and little to no support for startups and self-employed individuals. How innovation can help MSMEs. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to a highly dynamic environment which possesses many challenges, calling for innovative solutions, bringing about a versatile innovation landscape. Research suggests that innovation is more relevant as a success factor during and in the aftermath of crisis and can also notably contribute to the recovery of a firm from the exogenous shocks. Although there are innumerable instances where innovation helped businesses make their way out through the COVID-19 crisis, some of the examples could be: in Italy, a startup engineering company began quickly using 3D printers to create the walls used in ventilators. Spotify responded to the advertisers, cutting their budget and affecting Spotify's revenue by offering original content in the form of podcasts. Some of the innovative measures that can be adopted by MSMEs, Indian MSMEs, to overcome challenges faced due to COVID-19 or the response to an exogenous shock like the COVID-19 crisis calls for a preliminary assessment to understand the current state of the crisis. Is it still the in-crisis response phase? Is it a recovery post-crisis situation, or have the preparations for the future unforeseen situations begun? Taking this division of the phase of crisis in consideration, certain innovative practices can be used to tackle the situation. Some of the practices that can be suggested are: during the pre-crisis phases, the measures which can be used are to re-evaluate and transform business models to best suit the situation, strengthening the ability to sense and respond, introducing new digital approaches that can accelerate the production process, continuous scenario analysis, and strengthening the internal communication. Likewise, during the crisis phase, the MSMEs can use certain innovative measures like acknowledging crisis situation, identifying opportunities being created by the changing landscape, introducing quick decision making and promoting simplification, attempting to stabilize supply chains using buffers and alternative sources, putting in place alternative interim solutions, making attempts to meet shifting customer demands, ensuring appropriate resource allocation, protecting the workforce by emphasizing adherence to health and safety guidelines, putting in place rapid tracking cycles to understand how finance are being affected, and building a base for post-crisis growth. Also, in the post-crisis, or we can see the recovery phases, the innovative measures which can be used can be helping employees in developing new skills remotely, promoting e-learning and use of virtual reality technologies, promoting use of modular systems or integrated systems as they provide greater resilience, incorporating new technologies for more productive and safer operations, reconstructing the innovation portfolio, using remote quality testing where defects are identified and segregated automatically, trying to limit contact across the workforce, increasing overall resilience of workforce, and promoting an organic work culture. To conclude, I would like to mention that the COVID-19 crisis forced a sudden and new way of living upon the world, which requires us to find new and better ways to adapt and exist. The global pandemic has disturbed business activities worldwide and did not spare the Indian MSME sector as well. Although the Indian MSME sector was bursted, yet with timely actions, this sector can overcome the negative impacts COVID-19 resulted into. By incorporating innovative methods of doing business and with the help from government, the business can push back and emerge successful. Also, considering the uncertain nature of pandemic, businesses must now consider how the pandemic's recurrence and strength is impacting their recovery strategies and must strengthen their ability to sense and respond. That was all from me. Thank you.